Holy smokes, what a chore it is to get the right lighting in here, especially with these black and whites and these whatever track lighting, right? So I wanted to come on here today and talk to you guys about some stuff, right? So I had a fairly new member come to me today and ask me, just out of curiosity, what did you used to do before you opened the gym, right? And I said, live a shitty lifestyle. So I want to put some of that stuff in perspective. Obviously, I can't cover the last 20 years on a Facebook Live, but I did want to share some high points if you're interested in learning more about how I got to where I am today, thinking it might resonate with you, and you might kind of hear about my history and some of the obstacles I've overcome in my life. Definitely visit the website at getfitegv.com. Go down under podcasts and subscribe to that. I talk about what I've been through in terms of cancer, how I found, fitness, how I found a better path to health, and how I implement it today, being not only just a business owner, but also trying to keep my health as a priority. So that's getfitegv.com. I'm also broadcasting this to our members only group on Facebook, which is a group that's totally 100% just for the members, past and present members that have been here at GetFit. And then I'm also broadcasting it to our 28-day Kickstart group, which is just starting to get rolling. A couple people are in there. If you guys are interested in taking part of a challenge, not just any challenge, right? This isn't going to be a weight loss challenge. This isn't going to be something that we're looking to do temporarily, right? Just to shed a bunch of weight and then be back where we started next year this time. It's going to be a 28-day Kickstart in terms of loading your arsenal of knowledge and tools that you can use to better your lifestyle, right? Your health and fitness lifestyle, to better yourself professionally and personally, right? Or personally and professionally, because those things go hand in hand. If you're burning midnight oil at work, you're working from home, you've got the kids running around, right? And you want to make your health a priority. It seems like it's impossible, but it's not. It's totally possible. It's just about making sure that you have those tools in place and that you understand their role and the results that they're going to produce, right? A lot of times on these fitness challenges and on all these commercials, right, everything is a rush, right? Let's lose weight quick, let's get fit quick, let's do everything quickly. And the fact is that when you get to a state of being unhealthy, right, we don't get there overnight, we don't get there in 12 weeks, we don't get there at a blink of an eye or with a pill, right? We don't get to a point where our joints are hurting, it's hard for us to get up and walk around, or we lack energy, or we're sick on other medications. We don't get there by taking a quick pill, right? We get there through consistency of ignoring our health, eating poorly, being sedentary, and all that stuff. So when it comes to getting healthier and making better choices, you can't expect the reverse to work. You can't expect to order some pills online and get there, or get a shot and get to that point of health that you're looking for. But I want you guys to know through the little tidbits of information I'm going to share with you guys today that it's a process and it's a journey, and you have to enjoy the journey and look forward to the results that you get through the journey, and appreciate that and show gratitude for that before you can take on to the next step. And a lot of times, when people are looking to get fit or get healthier, they talk about this graph, right? And it's basically a curve. And a lot of times people want to think of it like a speedometer, right, on your car. You can't go from 0 to 120 overnight, right? Especially if you don't have the right car, you don't have the right equipment, you don't have a fast car, you got an older car, right? But you can certainly get to a certain point in the middle. Maybe that's the speed limit for the area that you're in, for the level of health and fitness that you're in. But basically our goal should be that if you're on medications and you live a sedentary lifestyle and you're just generally not feeling good about yourself or have the energy that you think you should have for where you're at in life, you want to get to the point where you're going from that zero, from that sickness, right, to not feeling well, to in the middle, to feeling well, feeling balanced, feeling like you do have some energy to do the things you want to do, whether it's playing with the grandkids, getting up early for a walk, playing with the dogs, the cats, maybe doing a little bit more traveling that you wanted to do. You want to get into the middle, and once you're in the middle, you've done all that work, right? All that uphill work to get into the middle. It's pretty much it's yours after that if you want that fitness, if you want to hone in on something specific, if you want to do a marathon, a running marathon, if you want to do one of those, like the Chicago Marathon, or if you want to do one of those obstacle races like Tough Mudder or Spartan, or if you want to do a running relay like Ragnar. I've done all those things and participated in them. And there was a point in time where I thought, I don't need to train for it, I'll just wing it. And I'll tell you that, yes, it's a lot harder if you don't train for it, right? And you think you could just pop into something like that. But two, you really, really increase the risk of injury. And not just injury, but like lifelong repercussions. I've known people to, just decide, I'm just gonna go and partake in the Chicago Marathon, 26 miles, right? Didn't really train for it or train too much for it and walked away with serious issues just from running, right? A broken femur, issues with their hips, permanent knee damage, right? Because they decided that they didn't need to take that seriously, that sport seriously. And I want you guys to know that all of this is steps, right? It's steps taking in the right direction. And as I said earlier, we don't get to this point in our life of, being out of energy or not sleeping well or having, sore joints and muscles and stuff like that. We don't get to this point because we did it overnight or because we took a pill or because we read a specific article, right? So don't think you can do that when it comes to taking yourself out of sickness into wellness, that you can just do it overnight, right? That you're gonna buy some fuzzy drink that you're gonna put into your water and you're gonna get there, or you're gonna get a shot, from your doctor and they'll have you on some crazy diet, and that's gonna get you there overnight and you're gonna be able to sustain that. Anything drastic that you do to your health or your routine is gonna be really hard to incorporate because we only have so much room on our plate, right? And that room is meant for work, for sleep, for family, for friends, for health. And if you currently don't have any space on your plate for health, whether that's physical health, like working out, mental health, emotional health, if you don't have any space on that plate, pushing everything off to get that is not gonna help anything because you're gonna lose out to some extent. So I'm gonna get into a couple of things. Like I said, my path to where I am now, I'm doing this live because one of my new members had asked me what I did before I opened a gym, what I did today, in the past before I opened a gym. And the assumption is that people that open a gym like to work out. They've always been into sports and stuff. I'll tell you, I was not into sports growing up. I was a little emo kid that smoked and hung out with the wrong crowd. And when I did try to partake in sports, I was very fond of soccer and other things. I wasn't fast. I was a big dork and people picked on me. I got balls thrown at me. I got kicked in the face numerous times in school because, I wasn't that, athlete. So what I did before the gym, kind of how I made my path here, again, if you're watching this and you want to know all the details and really get into some really tough talks, I do have a podcast at getfitbgb.com. You can go there, subscribe to the podcast, listen to that. But I am going to touch on some things, some basic milestones in my life that got me where I am today. So I numbered them. There's 6 things. I'm going to go through them. The first one is I had cancer in high school, major surgery. I'll talk to you guys about that. I'll circle back and tell you a little bit of the details, how that got me into really launching me into realizing that how I was brought up with my culture, that I needed to find a better way to health. The second was, that fitness was basically cardio, right? Fitness for females back in the days, back in the 90s, was cardio, right? We didn't lift weights. We didn't focus on getting stronger because the rumor was that, if you lifted weights, you'd get bulky and big, you'd look like a man, which isn't true. Talk about my career, right? That balance of working in the construction industry and, being stressed out, working 12, 14, 16 hours a day. I know it sounds impossible, but I had a really shitty lifestyle. I had spent a couple of years in, New Orleans, which doesn't make it easy to live healthy because, you work hard and play hard. How I found my way to CrossFit and what I did about that, I actually started as an online coach, that's number 5. And just before the pandemic hit, I decided that I didn't like the fact that I didn't see my clients in person, so I opened a gym. Just in time for the world to shut down and for us to pretty much just, I don't know what you would call it, but it's been an interesting 3 years. So as far as the cancer thing goes, and again, I am not downplaying cancer by summarizing this, right? It's a serious thing. I know tons of cancer survivors, and I was privileged where I didn't have to go through chemo and radiation. I don't know if I would have had to. I had to watch my dad go through that stuff. Actually, to go through cancer himself. He turned down additional treatment because of the research he did, and unfortunately died at a young age of 61 due to bladder cancer. So back in high school, 1997, I basically noticed that there was some type of blockage that was going on with my internal self, and through numerous ER visits and doctors just being like, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you, we're going to say it's appendicitis just to get you in here as an emergency, they determined that I had somehow grown this grapefruit-sized mass internally, so you couldn't see anything protruding out, but that mass was pressing against my colon, which is prohibiting any kind of elimination from your body, right? No pooping. So it was pressing against there. I had toxins building up in my body for about 3 weeks, and they went in there and they cut it out. So cut straight across, cut out that mass in the interest of preserving the best possible tissues and cells, right? They cut as much as they could around it as opposed to doing the radiation and the chemo. So that resulted in taking out this grapefruit-sized mass. They took out part of my colon, part of my pancreas, my spleen, and my left kidney. So it was like, and they tested the cells. They said, you know what, looks pretty good. We did a pretty good job getting everything out. You're not gonna have to go through chemo or radiation. Just come by and do your CT scans. Did all my periodic CT scans after about 7 or 10 years, I can't remember now. I eventually did, they got the all clear, and they're like, you know what, you don't have to come in every year, and just kind of, take it easy, try to live a better lifestyle, right? So I'm 17 years old, had cancer, I'm all healed, I can live forever, right? So I didn't really put too much effort into that. Quit smoking for a little bit, started smoking again because it was cool. And then there was a period, I believe in probably my mid-20s, I got in for a routine blood work with my GP, and she's like, your white count is super high, but also like that might just be you and how you're set up, so you might want to see a hematologist. So I went in and I actually looked up my oncologist, turned out he was still practicing, and I was like, hey man, I need to get some blood work looked at, see if it's bad, see if it's good, what's going on. And went down to his office, he was still practicing, he dug up all my stuff from 97. Go to his office, I'm sitting there waiting for him for like 2 hours, right, because that's what doctors do. And he walks in, doesn't even say hi to me. He just looks at me, he's like, holy shit, you could lose 20 pounds. And like, was I overweight? I don't know, like, I definitely weighed less than I do now, but I was just totally unhealthy, right? And he just starts laying into me, and he's like, are you still partying? He's like, you look like shit. He's like, you look like total, I don't know, like an ashtray, because he knew I was smoking. And he's like, if you keep going down this path, he's like, you're gonna make it into your 40s, maybe, or maybe you won't. And I was like, holy crap, he's like pretty serious. So what did I do, right? This is like early 2000s, time to work out. So I went to like Women's Workout World, if that doesn't date me, and went there and started working out. I was doing the elliptical and the lat assisted pull down machine, which means I had nice big lats and I was burning calories doing cardio. No other concept of what I needed to do with my body to get healthy, right? I just did what I was supposed to do in the women's section at Women's Workout World, and I did that a lot and kind of sort of made progress. Over the years, I continued to do that cardio. I ended up, quitting smoking, which was good. I ended up eating a little bit healthier. I did also realize during that period of time that eating breakfast at McDonald's, lunch at Burger King, and Panda Express for dinner was not healthy. Didn't know any better because that's how I was raised, kind of, single dad. Just didn't know any better and figured, it's good to eat, right? It's good to have a healthy appetite. Almost every, old world culture wants you to finish all the food on your plate and make sure that you're healthy and you're well fed. So, I was really good at eating. Again, was I morbidly overweight? No. But I was very unhealthy, right, in terms of the types of food I eat, the lack of activity, and, fitness. So kind of fast forward, I'm in the construction industry, I'm rocking it. I moved to New Orleans to help my employer open up a satellite office. I'm not a smoker at that point, but also we kick off at 1 o'clock on Fridays to go out drinking. Really hard to live in New Orleans when you have the sense of smell because it's pretty rank. So I started smoking again, and I was stressed out, so I started drinking again. And I was drinking 1 to 2 bottles of wine a night. I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day. I did that for at least 2 years. There were times where I would get up in the morning and I would literally double over and fall on the floor because my whole system was just so jacked up. But I still went into work, right? I was probably one of the highest producing people there in terms of, you know, my work ethic. I took care of all my superintendents, making sure their hotels were taken care of. I supported my project managers, everything. I was living the life, making probably a fraction of what I should have been making, but it is what it is, right? Ended up deciding that, you know, during this time my dad was struggling with cancer, and although I wasn't really close to him, and, you know, which actually is now my ex-husband, but at the time we were there, you know, he was the only person here in Chicago that was really tied to me and his family, and my dad was battling cancer, and here I am in New Orleans, you know, thousands of miles away from any form of family. So I decided that I was going to move back, figure out my career in construction, right, and see where that was going to take me. And through that process, I ended up finding my first CrossFit, which is pretty funny because I had no idea what CrossFit was. I literally was like super into yoga. So if we're going to go into those dates, that's going to be 28, 29. Super into yoga, very proud of the fact that I could hold like Warrior 2 for like a really long time. In case you guys don't know, that's like that power move. And I had a job in the west of Chicago looking for a gym that had a shower. It happened to be a CrossFit, Big City CrossFit, which actually isn't there anymore. Right on Lake Street and Des Plaines. Walked in there and was like, hey, I want to work out. And this guy's like, have you ever done weight training before? I was like, no, sir, I do yoga though, and I'm really strong. And my legs are really strong too. And he was like, all right. He's like, I'll give you a free week and we'll see how you do. So, you know, that's what I did. I showed up at CrossFit. I was there at 5 a.m. every morning. 9 times out of 10, I was the only person there too. It didn't even dawn on me, right? As a gym owner now, you know, it's an interesting thing. But, you know, I walked in at 5 o'clock. I was the only person there. I was like, he's gonna give me my workout, tell me what to do. We were doing back squats, and you know, I was so proud. I was doing like 65 pounds for back squats, and my legs were like just trembling like Bambi. And you know, my highest back squat now that I've done is 265. So over the years, right, I've gotten stronger. It didn't happen overnight, but I just think it's funny that I really hit it hard, right? I hit CrossFit hard. I was doing that. I was going to another gym. I was working out like 7 days a week, doing high intensity stuff, weight training. I was exercising, but I still wasn't getting where I wanted to get in terms of performance. And of course, you know, your body composition. When you look in the mirror and you're like, yeah, I just want to look fit. I work my ass off. I want to look fit. I want to look like I do something, right? But I wasn't getting that result. And it wasn't until then that I realized that I didn't know a damn thing about nutrition. And it's so funny because so many people wipe that plate clean to try to incorporate exercise into their life, and I get it. I get it what exercise does for you, the mental part of it, the release, the feeling good, getting active and all that stuff, but you can get a lot done, right? If you feel like you just don't have the time but to walk, get walking, right? Work on your nutrition and get walking, get out there, get active, right? It's not gonna happen overnight, but I can tell you that nutrition's a huge part of it. Nutrition's gonna help you sleep better. It's gonna help you process things better mentally. It's gonna help you get the results that you want through the activity that you do have time for, because changing how you eat, right? You gotta eat all day, every day anyways, right? So whatever that time is that you've allocated for eating is the same whether you eat well or eat poorly. But if you don't exercise and you're not active, it is adding an additional time constraint to your schedule, right? Which you may or may not have because of work, because of family, because of other obligations. So that's why I offer both here. You know, I offer fitness, I offer nutritional guidance. I decided that because I was in construction, I was gonna help women business owners kind of incorporate those things better into their life, because that's a big thing that happened in construction, is that a woman would, you know, women in general, because I could relate to them, they can relate to me. What I said resonated with them as a business owner. But basically, you know, they burn the candles at both ends and oftentimes burnt out. And when I taught them that honing in on their nutrition and honing in, getting more active, right, doing stuff that's accessible to them, it's not one thing only that you can do for fitness, right? I tell people that run all the time, you gotta cross train with strength training. People that do strength training all the time, gotta cross train with cardio. You gotta do a little bit of everything so that you can stay balanced. And the nutrition helps you do that. It helps you get the results that you're going for in terms of everything. It's not just about being skinny. So I worked with some online people for a couple of years, and then I decided, like, hey man, this was back in 2019. I was like, you know, it'd be really cool if I could actually work with people in person, because there's certain things you can see about them, right? You can see a lot more of their range of motion. You can have develop a better rapport with them that might get them to change their minds on whether or not what they're doing is the right path or sustainable, or throw in and layer in some additional information that they may be using to get to their goals. But you know that if you just gave them that little piece of information in class, or dropped a little bit of information in class, it'll sink in there, and then maybe they'll be able to incorporate it. So I didn't have that opportunity online because I only met with my clients once in a while. Now I get to see everyone multiple times a week, and I love it. So I opened the gym, and in March of 15, I was moving to this location here in Elk Grove, right at Nergy and Devon, and then COVID hit, right? So it's been really interesting in terms of how we survive, which is great. I'm so grateful for everyone that's here and that has decided to make their health a priority. You know, we have a lot of first responders. It's a smaller facility. You get a lot of personal attention. At the time COVID was going on, it was considered a much safer environment because I did disinfect, but also you saw the same people all the time. So they developed not only just a relationship with each other, right, but we're all here in it together, essentially. And we've grown our community, and it's a great thing. And I felt the need to kind of just share a little piece of me with you guys, because I know it's getting to that time of year and people are looking frantically sometimes for a place to just go work out and lose weight and all that stuff, New Year's resolutions. And I just want you guys to know that whatever you're doing now before the gym, right, what I did before the gym, it takes time. It takes time to get to this place. It's a mental shift to be able to get to a place of wellness. I can put some other things into perspective for you guys in terms of getting better. You know, when I was 17, I was super young, had major surgery, recovered well. Just last December, I had a hysterectomy. It was laparoscopic, but they said 4 to 6 weeks for recovery, that I was gonna definitely be down for 2 weeks because of my lifestyle. And granted, I mean, I'm not chicken and rice, I'm not no alcohol, I'm not no sugar, no carbs, right? I do live life. But they said 2 weeks I would be down for sure. I was down for 2 days. I was off pain medication almost the next day because I knew that pain medication does create some additional issues in terms of, you know, it can increase constipation and other stuff, and knowing that I had that previous surgery, you know, I lost colon to go through and all that stuff. But I wasn't, you know, I was able to recover very quickly because I made those choices in the past, and it didn't happen overnight. We're talking about from 1997 until now, right? And I can tell you that, you know, I'm not looking to go up on stage and show off a six-pack or my boulder shoulders or whatever, or do, you know, major booty gains, but I am looking to live a lifestyle that allows me to do the things I want, and quite frankly, it's delivering. You know, I was moving out of my apartment a few months ago, and I remember there was a point in time where, I mean, I didn't even think about what I was putting in the box. I was just like, boom, big box, put all the stuff in there, and I go to pick it up, and I was like, wow, that is heavy. And I don't know, I just picked it up, and it's just funny what you learn about yourself, especially when you do this type of training, right? When you do functional training, is you get to learn things about yourself. Like today we did really high volume kettlebell swings and box jumps. And it's really just about getting to know your body and know, like, you know, I went a little heavier on the kettlebell, but I knew, hey, I was gonna be able to do sets of 10 reps, right? I went a little shorter on the box because I knew it was gonna take me longer to do those kettlebell swings. It's those types of things that you learn about your body And it not only produces a better body, more functional body, right? But it produces a mental standpoint to where, you know, maybe in your professional career you think to yourself, oh my God, that's gonna be a really hard task to do. But what are those components of that task that I need to do? What are those 5 steps that are part of this project? And then you can break it apart and be like, you know what, I can do this part, step 1, and I can do step 2. Step 3, I'll need some help from my coworker. 4 and 5, I've got it. And then all of a sudden you're able to do this project no problem, right? Same thing with like working out, same thing with doing better by your nutrition, right? It's not about just cutting everything off and doing an 800 calorie or 1200 calorie or buying some creatine or getting some pre-workout. It's about learning about the different foods, what you like to eat, how that fits into your goals, and finding a resource to teach you that. I'm not saying it's me. It doesn't have to be me. It'd be great if it was me. But if it is me, I can tell you that, you know, it's a wonderful thing to be able to find this blend of functional fitness and nutrition that produces a lifestyle that you want, so that you can get and go be a badass at other things, right? Forget losing weight. That's a byproduct. That's going to happen when you adopt these things into your lifestyle. But you're going to be able to excel and be awesome at so many other things. You're going to sleep better, so many better things are going to happen. So thank you so much, guys. I know it's probably a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but I did want to share this with you. What you're doing before the gym, before starting a gym regimen, you know, it's not an end all or be all, right? You can start today. You can start with so little and then it will put you on a better path for a lifetime. And then you can just slowly incorporate those little things little by little and get there, right? It doesn't have to happen overnight. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you guys here or there or the next time I see you. Bye.